It's the opposite of this.
I shave my big toes.
You shave your toes? I've never even done that before.
Just like 4 little ones on the big toe.
I have like barely any hair.
Yeah, girl. Honestly, wearing open-toe shoes, that you have to think, do I shave my toes or no?
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Vajayjays podcast. I'm Liz.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Krista.
And I'm Catherine.
And on today's episode, we're going to get a little deep and talk about our... I was waiting for someone.
Deep throat.
And we're going to talk about our weaknesses. So we're going to start off with our biggest food weakness. What is something that you crave the most, at like a guilty pleasure that you probably shouldn't be eating?
I thought it was funny because just last weekend, my sister was introducing me to somebody, and she was like, this is my sister, and she eats too much sushi. Like, she's going to die of mercury poisoning.
That is true.
I don't know if you guys already know, but I think I've said candy at least once every podcast or once every other podcast. I crave candy constantly. I will always love candy. And actually, we just went to Target recently and we bought two big bags of like Halloween candy, and the cashier was like, oh, are you guys gonna pass it out to the kids? And I was like, no, to be honest, we're gonna totally turn off all the lights and we're just gonna eat all the candy with me and my housemates. And she's like, that's cool.
Every time I have candy, I save it for you.
I know, I was so happy when I see it.
Oh my gosh, that song, Krista.
Throwback.
Mine is French fries and cookies and chips.
So it's any kind of snack.
I just love those. My favorite.
Mine is hot Cheetos, and not just any hot Cheetos, extra hot.
Extra hot.
Yeah, it's so bad. I'm probably gonna get an ulcer any minute now, but you know, like Krista, I'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna get mercury poisoning, and she's gonna get massive stingray. So
Stingray's not even as bad as an ulcer.
I've never had an ulcer.
No, an ulcer is a hole in your stomach. I pray to God that you don't get an ulcer.
Oh, okay. I'd rather have the stingray than an ulcer. Then that's fine.
Wait, I have a question.
Like poop when it's spicy?
Your butt is on fire. Yeah. Like, if you eat it so much, do you ever get that?
Yeah, I never called it a stingray. I just call
No,
it
I'm asking
like,
Alyssa
spicy.
because she eats it so much.
Not all the time, but it happens. Like if I indulge way too much, I'm like, oh, shouldn't have.
Even if I just eat it a little, like once in a while, I'll have it like the next day. It's so annoying.
Oh.
I always get it from In-N-Out. In-N-Out.
What?
You ever get the chili peppers from In-N-Out?
Oh,
Like, you think it's just
so
not a big deal? Worth it every time.
That makes more sense. I was like, In-N-Out? How?
So what's something that you can't say no to?
Hot Cheetos.
For me.
No.
Okay, we'll get you hot Cheetos. Extra hot.
I would say like just my spending habits on things for my students lately has been tough. But it's hard because I'm like not there with them. So I'm like, oh, I want to buy them this, or they need this, or they could use this, versus like I would be normally spending that like for my classroom, and then I could reuse it and then have it for multiple years.
Yeah.
So I think right now that's a probably big weakness for me.
Mine is all the stupid stuff I buy. Like, I just bought, okay, so Alyssa just got me that desk toy. But then I bought more stuff like mini trash cans for my desk, and like I don't need it because I already have a trash can that's a basketball hoop. But like I just want it because it's a mini trash cans. Like I can't say no to that. And also Taco Bell. Like there's rarely any times I will not just get one little thing if someone's going.
Same. I can't turn down like a midnight snack, and I can't turn down like if my sister or if Oliver like sneak into the room and they say, hey, you wanna do something? If they do it in that tone, like I have to say yes. Like I just can't say no. You wanna it doesn't matter what it is, I have to say yes.
Is that how I get you to go to the club? Do you want to like go to the club?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It's like if you catch me off guard, it's like if you're craving something, you go, "Do you feel like going to Taco Bell?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." It's like one of those things.
I would probably say maybe dessert is my weakness because I love sweets. And when someone's like, "Do you want to get dessert or you want to get boba?" I'm like, "You had me at, whatever word you just said." I was like, "I'm down and always will be down." And I think the other thing that I would say is like my weakness is buying stuff that's on sale because I'm like, but it's not full price. It's not a sale. So technically your girl's saving money.
Yeah,
But
those
it's
sale
so
tags
bad
get
because
me too.
yeah, and the things is it's like it's on sale, so you're like, oh, I'll just buy like this and this and this, and you're like, it's just gonna be a small amount, right? And in the end, it's like 100 or 200, and you're like, but it was on sale.
Yeah. And then later
And I
you
got
see it full price again and you're like, good thing I got it on sale. And then it
For
makes you want to do it
$2
again.
off.
Sometimes that $2 is worth it.
you can buy her candy with that. That's $2.
Yeah,
I see, and then that's why we start justifying. Because I would say, like, if I save $3 on something, I'm like, that's one boba. Good.
Yes. See, totally get it.
Okay, now that we've got like what is this?
The light things.
Now that we got the easy stuff out of the way, what do you think are your biggest weaknesses in terms of like your personality, your character, or your flaws?
For me, I have a hard time saying no. I just have I've been called a people pleaser. Not that I want to please people and not that I don't want to say no. It's just if I can do it, I'm going to do it. And like, here you go, like no big deal. But I feel like it's also a weakness because that like leaves less time for me. And if there's anything I've learned this year with everything, me is very important these days. So I'm learning more to say no, but still very tough. And I still consider it a weakness.
I think I'm really like hard on myself, and you guys always tell me this too. But I think that comes from like when I was younger, I didn't want to listen to wisdom or advice that people were genuinely trying to help me out, and I just didn't want to listen because people say like also be your own person and all that kind of stuff. But later on, as like I grew older and a little bit wiser, I would say that now I kind of like overcorrect. So like I'll take any like sort of criticism and I'll like believe it so much that I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm gonna be better this time and I'm gonna do this better, I'm gonna do that better. And when I don't meet my own expectations, I get like really hard on myself.
I think same for me with the people pleaser. I'm a big pushover. Everyone tells me that. Like, you can literally step all over me and I know it, but I still let you do it. Like, I don't know. I just want to like please people because I'm scared of upsetting people. Like, I don't want confrontation, so I just do what makes everyone else happy.
Is it more of the confrontation? I'm curious about this because you always say, I don't know, but I want to know the real reason. Like,
wait, what do you mean by I don't know?
Because you said, I don't know why I do it, even though I know that they're stepping on me. Like, why do you allow it to happen?
Because of my childhood. I feel like I'd rather just keep the peace because I don't want to trigger anyone the way like people around me have been triggered. Yeah.
I'm kind of like you guys, people pleaser, but I don't say I'm a people pleaser when it comes to friends because if you're my friend and you want me the truth, like I will give you the truth and I don't hold back on it because you're asking me from your honest opinion. But you guys know how I am if I'm dealing with people from work. Like I'll do it because I can do it and because like obviously you're asking me, so you must be doing something important. But at the same time, I know like they're just being like, oh, she's the new one, I'm just going to force the work on her and she can't really say anything because my position it's like it's low, like I'm not really allowed to talk back to my supervisors. So obviously I'll do it. And I think that's really bad. And I totally get that now.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think another weakness would just be like thinking that like everything that I can do like 10 times better. And I think that's, in a sense, it's good because, you know, you're forcing yourself to work harder to get a better result. But at the same time, it's bad because you overthink a lot of things and you kind of step on your toes and make a lot of mistakes because you're forcing yourself to push yourself past the limit that you're not really comfortable with. Does that make sense to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree. I am also a perfectionist. I have to do it 50 million times to make sure it's right, or I'll spend 50 million hours on it just to get it right to the T. And I think that goes back to me like trying to please people because I want it to be perfect. I also have this thing where my name is on it and I only get one name in this world. So I want my name to be good. You know, I want my name to have like a lasting impression. I'm also a teacher, and I know a lot of you can name millions of teachers on the back of your hand, right? And so with my name, that's like the best way I can leave that impression. And I feel like I have to rep it well. I've also been an athlete my whole life. And so you like rep your name like on your jersey, you know what I mean? And make them proud, make your family proud.
How well do you guys deal with constructive criticism? Like, and that goes from your friends, family, and like your mentors at work. How well do you
Are they
fare with it?
criticizing my work or me?
You.
Oh.
Like my
I
character
mean,
and my
if you think about
personality.
it, a lot of the constructive criticism is stuff that they're critiquing. They're critiquing your work, but they're also critiquing you because you've done that work.
Did I ask for it?
So it's the whole thing. Yeah.
Wait, did I ask them though? Or they just did it out of nowhere?
Let's just say like you asked them.
Oh, I would love to. If I ask, that means I want to hear your opinion. And
Okay,
then I would.
then if they didn't ask.
Yeah, it's the unwarranted advice that we're like, I think it has more to do about them if they just read, hey, I don't like this about you. It's something to do with them.
The way I see it is like an auntie coming up to you like at a party, and your auntie just is like, well, why don't you have boyfriend, or why you don't have ring, you've been with your boyfriend a long time. Like I think that's the angle that like Tiff is trying to go at. But I feel like because I'm an athlete, like, and I've taken constructive criticism my whole life, I just kind of eat it up, and I'm like mumbling under my breath as I walk away. But I'd try to be obviously respectful at the time too, given whoever's giving me that criticism.
Yeah. No, I think when people tell me, then I sometimes overthink that I'm not good enough. Like that's what will happen in my head. I'll be like, I need to fix whatever they said because I'm not good enough for them now. And they said I need to work on this, so I'm going to work on it. And then it just like becomes like, yeah.
Same. I think that's kind of what I was like touching on a little bit earlier, that I like overcorrect. Oh, I have to be like, you know, like they say, oh, can you just be a little more clean? And then I'll be like hella clean, to where it's like too much.
Yeah.
We're learning to balance.
No, it's difficult because, you know, when you get constructive criticism, like it's the same way like your hard work is being literally like being like punctured because it's just like, oh, this and like nitpicked, you know. But it's like at the same time I think they're just trying to help you build. So I totally get it because like during work they'd be like, oh, you should have done this instead, or maybe done this one, and I'll be like, oh yeah, okay. And in the back I'm just like, you're an idiot, why did you think of this? And I'm just like, you like beat yourself up because you're like, oh, it's just like stupid small mistakes, but at the same time like you got called out for it, and that's what is kind of like irritating.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh fuck, all right.
Yeah.
You know what? But how do you decide like what is good criticism that I'll actually like act upon, or one that I'll just be like, they're wrong?
It depends who's telling me. If I like respect how they work, or like I look up to them, or I think like they're just a good person, then I will be like, I want to listen to what they're saying. But if I don't care about them, or I think they're a bad person, then I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
That's true. No, that's absolutely true. And I think it's more of like, if you think it's actually going to benefit you by correcting this mistake, then I think, yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, if they're just someone who's just like a lazy piece of crap, who's just giving you shit, I'll be like, okay, yeah.
Have you guys ever had somebody who's like someone like you looked up to, like really just like crush your dreams after like presenting something and working so hard?
Yeah.
And you thought you were like up here, you're like, here you go, like I'm feeling good, and then they're like, nah.
Yeah, okay, let me tell you. My last job, I had to do a process documentation on one of our customers, and the whole procedure of how we do like the purchase orders to how we create the sales orders, how it gets into NetSuite and all that stuff, and then how it goes into like our cloud base, right? So I was writing it, and I was like going like literally like she was like, write it as if you're writing it for a child to understand. So I was like, okay. So I was literally typing it up. I was working on it for a couple of days, and then I finally like got it done. And then she's like, okay, let's go review it together. And she goes, okay, this is way too simple. Like, this is like unnecessary steps. And I was just like, okay, well, you told me to write it as if I was like instructing a child to do it. So obviously I did it as a child would do it. And so she's like, okay, like you're gonna have to rewrite it. And she's like, and then she's like, you have the basis of it. You just need to format it so it's a more formal documentation and it's more proper and it's like straight to the point. And so I did that. Still wasn't enough. She's like, I don't understand it. And I was like, and then I told her, I said, I was like, I don't know what you want from me. I was like, I did like a stupid child one. We were like on like friend level, so it was totally okay. And I was like, and then I have this one where you said you don't get it now. And I was like, tell me exactly what you don't understand so that I can make it better for you. I was like, what exactly do you want me to break down so you can see what exactly needs to be clicked on to get to that process? And she's like, okay. And so she did it. And I was just like, you just wasted my whole week that I spent doing this. And I was just like so fed up and tired. And she'd be like, oh, is it done yet? And I was be like, no, it's not done yet because I have other stuff to work on.
Yeah.
So I was a little salty, but I
Yeah,
I
for
totally
sure.
understood because we presented it to, one of the leadership people, and he had to understand it because he was going through like a whole cleaning process. So like as mad as it like I was just like, I understand because it had to be done. Whatever.
I think it was when I first started my business, I didn't have an iPad because I couldn't afford it. And so like what I had to do was draw everything super large on printer paper and then scan it. And it had to be like super clean. And I think when my first cards came out, they were just black and white because I was trying to keep it simple. People, when I showed them, were kind of just like, this is it. And then it kind of was just like, damn, I put like months into this, but you don't understand like how much goes into it. I had to find a place to print it wholesale, and then like I don't have an iPad, so I was doing everything super clean on paper, and you have to keep the paper straight and like Photoshop and all that. And then it's like it kind of just sucks because I put so much time into that. And I feel like sometimes with my products, with the new stuff, like even when I send it to you guys, I like get nervous because I'm like, I want people to like it. And I think a lot of times people look at my stuff and goes, that's it. But it's like there's so much behind printing a simple product on anything. Like Alyssa knows, even with the stickers, that's complicated. So it's like I'm doing sweaters and stuff, and it's just a lot of work. So like, yeah, that was probably a time where I was like, damn it, all these people I wanted to show were just like, that's it.
I'm sorry they made you feel that way.
It's fine. I'm better
We're
now.
always excited to see your new merch. So don't ever feel afraid showing us because
Oh yeah, I'm not afraid to show you guys because if you didn't like it, I would listen to you. I just don't show a bunch of people because when you have too many opinions, it kind of just like makes everything so much worse. So yeah.
Okay, so I had a mentor before, and I hope she's not listening. But we were working on like my, I don't know, just like my personality, my personal life, things that were going on. It's not like a professional mentorship, but like, I mean, throughout our mentorship, like I was never perfect, and it was always understood that I was never going to be perfect. But I think there was like a break in our friendship, I guess, because we kind of made it to the friendship level. But I think she saw like one flaw in me and just kind of like got really mad and just like said, "You can't do this. Like, I can't believe you just did that." And then like at first I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't even realize." And then I was like, "Okay, like I'm aware of it now." And that was like cool. Like, I mean, it did hurt in the beginning, but I was like, "Yeah, but this is like a mentor. This is somebody I trust." And like I trust that they're trying to guide me to be a better person as a whole. But then they just like kept hounding it over and over and over again. And even though I had fixed already what they had pointed out in me, like it just like kept going, like, remember when you did that? And it just kept bringing me back. And I was like, this is no longer productive. And it took many years of unlearning like all of that, because this is somebody like I trusted. So I kind of felt in my mind like it was built in, like, oh, you're not good enough, like you're gonna remember every bad thing you ever did, and you're gonna keep that as a reminder for the next time you do something bad. Yeah. I had to that took me like, I don't know, 3 years to unlearn.
Yeah.
I'm still dealing with it a little bit.
Yikes, that's rough. That's some real tough love. For me in my teaching program, I had this professor who I adored. She was so like lighthearted. She made class super fun. It was always engaging. And mind you, I went to class like this. I had an online program. So tough to stay focused when I can just open new windows, but she allowed us to like be seriously engaged. And everybody has to present a lesson plan and show a video. And so, mind you, about maybe 20 or 30 of us, 30 people went before me. So I'm like at the last end of the hall. And so I was like, well, I know I didn't do as bad as that person or that person or that person, but she always gave like super positive feedback. It was never negative. And whatever feedback she shared with that person on a individual basis, she shared with the whole class. So that way we could see her perspective and like obviously learn and grow and be better teachers. And so when she finally came to me, I shared my video. I was super confident. I was like, I know I did this right. I did this. I had this in there, blah, 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 all the theories and blah, 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 making it in there. And everyone in my class like was like, you did really well. Like you hit this, this, and this. You used great examples. The kids were engaged, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, okay, now I'm going to tell you guys what I told her. Right. And I was like, cool. Like, thanks. And she basically just like laid it on me and said that I didn't have control of the class. Students were disrespecting me. Just basically like it could have been better and I didn't do a good job. I was crushed because every other person, let me tell you, did not have a lesson plan like me. And whew, it still burns a little bit. But I was just hurt. Like, I'm not a professional teacher yet. I'm still student teaching. Like, you could have gave me some type of positive feedback, but she like drilled me with all these questions. Like, how is your relationship with your mentor teacher? How is your lesson planning with her? How are the kids? What's the demographic? Like, really trying to figure out why I didn't have control of the class and why like the lesson went the way it did. And I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, well, I don't want you to feel bad about this. I want you to take it lighthearted. I really want you to just evaluate yourself and where you want to go as a teacher. And she's like, I really want you to hunker down and like think about how you want your classroom run. And I was like, wow, okay, thanks.
Awkward.
So like given like the advice she gave it to me at the end, like obviously like I need to do that. But in that moment, like I didn't need it to hear it the way that she said it, I guess.
I feel like I'm too gullible sometimes, like way too trusting. And I know I'm like that, but it's hard for me not to. Yeah, I just like if you pretended like my brother always messes with me and would like say something and act like he means it, and then later he'll laugh and he was like, "You're so stupid. I was just joking." Like I totally believe you if you're even a bad actor. I'm just like, would you lie to me? So like I just think everyone's telling the truth. But then when it comes to serious things, I think that too, and I feel like I let people lie to me easily and they know they can because I'm just like, you're not lying to me.
You're just extra trusting.
Yeah, like way too trusting. Like you can hurt me like 1,000 times and I'll still be your friend, if that makes sense. You guys
Don't
know
you
I
dare
stay in
do
some
it.
friendships too long.
I think for me, a weakness is I tend to snap, like in the heat of the moment or in a moment. If I'm busy or if I'm doing something, if I'm really busy, I get really cranky and I snap. And I know it's something I need to work on.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's mainly with people like my sister or my boyfriend or like my mom or my grandma, like people I'm like in my immediate surroundings, I guess. I don't really do it with friends. It's more like to family. And again, super unintentional. And I realized after, and I'm like, damn it, now I have to go apologize, and I'm embarrassed, and I don't want to.
Yeah. At least you apologize.
Yeah, that takes a lot of guts to apologize, especially if it's like something that you felt like super passionately for. Like you're like, this is definitely right, and then you find out you're wrong, and you're just like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I feel you on that, Alyssa. I think I overreact on like certain things every now and then. Like it'll just, for some reason, it'll just like wire something into my head, and I'll just be like, why are you trying to fight me on it? Like, just can't you just leave it be? Yeah, I'm just really bad.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I would just say same with you, snapping or like hot-headedness, and
Yeah.
maybe like another weakness is like I'm a very hangry person. Don't
Mm.
mess with me. Like I don't. Catherine knows.
You guys,
Catherine and Krista know. Like y'all know. I can't. If I'm fucking hungry, like please leave me be. Just throw something at me. I'll like try to be. I'll just try to get out of your way until I eat. I'm just a really mean person. I can't.
yeah. You know, like when I talk to you, I know how you usually respond in your like bubbly voice. And when she's like straight face, I'm like, she's hungry.
I just have to
And I'm
say,
like, just leave her until she gets food.
I just have to say, there's this one time that like all of us were hangry. I think me and Tiffany, like we agreed, we're like, let's just not talk until the food comes.
You
Like we
both-
ordered, and we were just like, mm-mm, mm-mm. Not till
Me
the
and
first
silence
plate
too,
comes.
because we're so hungry.
Yeah,
So,
but you can
Oliver
imagine.
and Michael were like just chilling, and me and Krista were like, we're hungry.
We were scratching the freaking chairs. We're like,
Jeez, guys.
and then guess what?
Monsters.
As we're eating, we're just like,
Yeah, no. And then while we were waiting, because they hand out the banchan, right, the sides. So me and Krista were eating those while we were chugging down water just to fill our stomachs. We're really bad people. I'm sorry.
so like if you tell me something, I can't just like unsee it. Like there are things that like if I don't realize it, maybe it's just better for me not to realize it. Because one time I was talking to my sister and I said like, why don't you hang out with this certain person anymore? And she goes, oh, because they do this thing and I hate this thing. And I'm like, no, you're crazy. And then we were just hanging out, minding our business. Then the person was doing the thing. And I was like losing my shit. I like hid under the table and I was like, and I was so mad at her. I was like, why did you have to point that out? And she goes, sorry. Now I just really can't unsee it. It's so hard.
Another weakness that I have is you cannot wake me from my slumber. If you wake me up, it is bad.
Are you angry?
I get real angry. Yeah, don't wake me up from my nap. I'm napping. Like, why would you wake me up? I'm sleeping. There's nowhere it does not say wake me up. Why would you wake me up? Did you hear my alarm go off? No, I'm fine. Let me sleep.
Okay, what if your alarm went off, right? And you had to go do something and then they heard it and you didn't wake up, so they try to wake you. Would you be mad?
No, that's a different story.
Oh, okay.
But like, if you're just like gonna wake me up for no reason, I get pissed. So mad. Everyone in my family knows it. They know it.
If she went with this.
Don't wake up, dragon.
Yeah, don't wake me up.
You can't sleep with
Mm-mm.
Krista.
Holy. Does it count if somebody else's snoring wakes you up? Would you be cranky then?
I have to go to sleep before the snore, or else I won't be
Okay.
able to sleep.
Don't sleep with Krista.
I throw
Yeah.
pillows at her.
I made sure that they fell
No,
asleep
you throw it and she
first
won't wake
the
up.
second night.
This girl like sleeps hard. It's scary.
Yeah. I don't know. I gotta get that looked at.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound weird, but I think another one of my weaknesses is kind of caring too much when like a friend is in need. So like I tend to be kind of like overprotective and kind of just like really like break down the situation of like what's happened. So like my coworker was going through a couple of stuff. You guys know, I'm not gonna go into too many details about it, but she was going through some issues with her husband and has been doing some bad things, and I told her that I didn't approve of it and it wasn't good for her and not very just unfair for her husband. And basically like she got mad that she's like, well, this is my life, I can do what I want. And then I just told her, I was like, well, you asked me for my opinion and I'm just trying to be a good friend, to support you, to be there for you, but you're not gonna be like this. And so like I snapped at her one time and I just told her, I was just like, I'm really mad because of this and this. And I was just like, and like if you're not willing to listen to me and you still want to complain about it, then I suggest you go elsewhere because I'm not going to sit here and listen to your BS anymore. because like I'm not that friend. I'm not going to be that friend that's going to support this bad habit, like, you know. And so she's just like, oh, she like, we didn't talk for a couple days, and then she's just like, yeah, you know, I'm really sorry I put you in that position. And I was like, you didn't only put me in that position, you put our coworkers in that position. And I was like, and they're uncomfortable talking about it. So I was like, I stepped up and I told you about why you shouldn't be even discussing it in the workplace. Like, I'm like, I'm here to help you, and you're just fucking just throwing it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm just too caring when people just like tell me things, because I'm like, I want to help you, but it's like I can't tell you what to do because it is your life.
Yeah.
And I understand, but please don't bring up a problem if you're not willing to solve it. Like,
Yes.
I don't want to hear it 5,000 times.
Some people, like, they need to hear that, and other people, like, how do I phrase this? Like, there are different kinds of people you need in your life. The ones who will be harsh with you, like how you're just like straight up in front, like, don't. And then there are other people like, it's okay to feel how you feel, because that's how I am. It's okay. Feel what you feel, you know?
No, like, I was like trying to be like that, you know, it's okay, everything's gonna be fine. But then one bad thing led to 10 other bad things, and I was like, okay, girl, you need to fucking like put the brakes on this train, because this train's about to crash, and I'm not going down with you, as much as I love you. Like,
Yeah, I think it's like circumstantial. Like if it's things that I know can't be changed maybe, or like you're just complaining about it for the first few times, then yeah, I'll listen. But then it's like, we know her story with her coworker. Like eventually I would have been like, dude, fix it. If we're also like, I would say we're self-aware with our weaknesses, right? If we recognize our weaknesses, why haven't you changed them? Or like, are you doing anything to change them?
I think the thing that's hardest for me is that, like, sometimes I don't always know how to change something about myself.
I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I am trying to change me saying no more often, and really allowing that time for myself. In terms of my perfectionist, I know I'm a perfectionist. Yeah, it could be a bad thing, but it's also a good thing at certain times. So I guess it's finding that balance and realizing I shouldn't spend 50 hours, but maybe 25 hours.
Yes. I think people constantly, okay, this used to annoy me. Oh, actually, maybe it sometimes still does. Whenever I hang out with people, the conversation somehow gets back to, you're being too nice, Catherine. This is why this blah, 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 blah happens to you, right? And I don't like seeing it as a weakness, because I'm like, I try. It's a lot harder to be nicer than mean. Hello. Like, I try to be a good person, so I feel like that's why I don't change those things, like being a pushover and a people pleaser and too trusting. Like, I can see the negative sides of it, but I don't mind getting hurt from it, because there's also good outcomes the other times. So it's like, I don't want to change it, because then I feel like I'm being a dick, you know?
Yeah, you're right. You shouldn't change who you are because other people are being mean to you or stepping on you in ways that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
You should still be true to yourself. I definitely agree.
They need to
And
change. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they do. They do need to change and realize what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think maybe the reason why I don't change any of these weaknesses is because I'm stubborn. And I don't mind saying that, because I think I actually am. I mean, like, yeah, caring could be a weakness and like a good thing, but over caring is just something that it's just like a natural thing for me to have. And I don't think I ever want to lose that quality, because it's like, if I just pretend to be a person who doesn't care, then it just seems like I'm empathetic. Like, what is it? Empathetic, or just not empathetic?
You're not empathetic.
Not
Yeah.
Yes. And like, I don't want people to think that, because like I do care and I want to listen to your problems, but it's just like like the volume of me like getting involved with this is very exhausting, because it's not like the first time that I've had to put my foot down with other people on things that shouldn't happen and just things that need to get done. I don't know, it's just me being like a stubborn ass bitch.
Well,
to myself.
You two say the thing about you like snapping. Like, do you guys ever try to change that, or you just feel like it's just too hard?
I think it also depends on like what's happening in my environment at the time. I don't think I snap that easily. I mean, like if I'm driving, you guys know I snap at people because I'm just like, fucking asshole, put your signal on, right? Just like that small stuff. But if it's like stuff that's like just randomly, I try to bite my tongue. But sometimes if I do that and I stay quiet, then they're like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't want to say it because then I just get mad, you know?
Oh,
So you're just like, it's nothing. Just like try to like brush it off because you know it's not like I intentionally try to snap at you at times. It just happens.
Mm.
I think I agree with Tiff
Sorry.
on like not saying anything, and then it gets worse. Like, well, here I am, like trying to be better and not like snap at you, and you're telling me to talk, and I'm like, I can't talk right now, and you're like, I need you to talk, and I'm like, just please leave me alone, so I don't snap at you. And then one thing I thought I was doing better at, but I think Armando would say otherwise. Is when I'm upset, like I try to just be normal, but I guess it doesn't come off as normal. Like I try not to show anger, and because I'm like mellow, I'm like, it's fine. Like I guess it's not like I can't win, you know what I mean? Like because he knows I'm upset, like, well, just leave me be before I get, more upset. Like the other day, he was like, "Oh, I can help you clean." I was like, "It's fine, I got it."
I think it's like that thing that guys always say when girls say they're fine, they're not actually fine. And then girls are like, I want guys to just know that something's wrong. It's like so confusing.
Read my
I feel
mind.
that.
Yeah. So it's like, what is anyone supposed to do? It's weird.
But I felt like we had a better relationship where like I'm literally fine. Like just let me clean. Like I'm fine. Just let me clean.
Maybe change the word. Just be like, it's cool, bro.
You know what? That's probably good. Yeah, I probably should take that advice.
So my weakness of like being really hard on myself, what I've been doing, well, I haven't changed it for a long time because I didn't know how to, but what I've been doing lately, like since quarantine, it's just like, no matter how many times I get mad at myself or annoyed at myself, I'm just going to write it down. I'm not going to talk to anybody about it. I'm just going to write it down. And I think over the collection of the months, I've been getting quieter and quieter. I don't know if you could tell, but I've been like, as I write things down, I'm like, oh, is that really something that I thought about?
Mm-hmm.
And like, the more you do that, like, the more you are aware of your own thoughts. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just tired of saying the same story again. Why I'm so annoyed. So eventually it like helps me to like let go. You know what I mean? And like having to just write it down on paper and not having to involve somebody else, like, so I don't have to think like, ooh, am I annoying them by talking about this too much? Like, just putting it on paper just like is easier for me to like let it go.
Yeah, I do a lot of that self-reflecting thing too right before I sleep. Like I just lay there and I think like, okay, if something's irritating me before I go to bed, I'm just going to sort it out in my head because like I don't want to vent constantly to people when I know I need to change it because what are they going to do for me, But I just don't write it down anymore because my hands are tired by then day. So like I lay there and I kind of just like let it play in my head. And then I'm like, Catherine, move on, like be better. And then it's just
There's speak to text, right?
I never used that before. I feel weird.
That's actually hella
What?
smart. That's really smart to do. And then when you're done, just delete it.
Yeah.
I know
Watch her
people
like lay in bed like, oh my god, so and then
accidentally send and I'm like, crap.
No, like on your notes, just go on notes and like just put speak and just start talking. I know this girl in college who used to say all of her essays. She would just talk it all out, and then she would copy and paste it into a Google Doc, edit it, and she was done.
I went to a neurologist who, when we were done with our appointment, she was like, I'm going to dictate real quick. And I was like, what does she mean? So I'm sitting there and she holds her phone and she just goes, patient, blah, 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 period, blah, blah, blah. Like my whole entire thing we discussed that day, she just like talk to her phone and like had it typed down. And I was like, that is so weird to me. Like, I can't talk to myself like that. I'd start laughing. You would just see, ha, 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 ha.
Wait, sorry, no, not that one.
Yeah.
Wait, she
You
used
should
it
try
your
it.
time to dictate?
Yeah, she would just hold her phone and just be like patient, blah, blah, blah. Like everything that we discussed, she was talking about me in front of her phone, just like having it. And she'd be like, comma, period. And I'm just like trying not
That's
to
supposed
laugh.
to help you?
No, it's for her to take notes on her phone.
So she doesn't have to
Could
type
have done that
it.
her own time.
Oh,
Like if
I
I'm
mean, it's
paying you by
kinda
the
hard when she
minute, I
has multiple
mean,
patients you gotta
don't
go
make me
through.
listen to your dictation.
It's not paid by the minute, girl. It's one session.
Yeah, a session is like what, an hour and a half? Girl, every minute counts.
Oh my-
I hate when they cut me short.
She's
I
the
said
real Asian right
neurology,
here.
girl, not therapy.
Oh no,
I was like, what is she talking
I don't know why I thought therapy. Okay.
Why would my therapist be like, patient cried, period?
Gave her
That face, sad
tissue.
face.
Okay, wait. That's literally what we do at work. Like when you go back into somebody's account, you can see the notes. Client was very angry. Client used bad language with me. Client hung up.
Oh my gosh.
That is quite sad.
They're kind of juicy. I just have to tell you
Uh,
guys, since we're already talking about weaknesses, I have poke waiting in the fridge for me.
Krista,
And
all
this
that
is the problem.
mercury.
What are some qualities people consider your weakness but you may not agree with?
Has anyone ever told you guys, like, I think you need to work on this, or like
Yeah.
a specific thing they think is your weakness? What'd they say?
Mine was the people pleaser thing. Like,
Mm.
you're too nice, you're a people pleaser, you're a pushover, like don't let people do that to you. And I just think that person was too mean. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with what I was doing. I mean, I'm better now, I guess. I'm a little more tough. I don't let people rub me the wrong way. And I'm working on that no thing. So I'm trying not to be that people pleaser, but I think it just stems from my childhood. So it's like hard for me to break. Like, this is all I know. This is my life.
Mm.
I'm a nice person. Get over it. Why are you mad?
Exactly. Like when people get so like, it's the nice thing, or like, well, okay, I totally agree that I'm a pussy. Like when people call me that, my friends say it as a joke, like not in a mean way, but like they actually kind of mean it. Like, you guys know I'm a pussy. Like, I will not stand up for myself. I will not ever talk back. Like, I'm just gonna sit there. So like, I agree with that one, but I don't agree with the too nice one, because I'm just like,
Like, which one is the greater evil, being too nice or being too mean? You know what I mean? So
I
in
think
like,
there's just pros and cons to each.
yeah, but being too mean, I think, is,
But why are you
I
being
don't
mean?
know, a little less
What's the point?
desirable. No,
What's the
well,
point
because
of
they're
being
saying,
mean?
because they're saying to Catherine, like, oh, you're too nice, but it's like, as opposed to what, being too mean? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
being too nice is the better alternative.
Mm.
I think that's just my opinion, but don't take my advice.
All the mean people are gonna be like, she's stupid.
No, you're stupid.
Yeah.
You know what? This one person, like, they one time told me that, like, that they said, lately I think you've been really mean. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but I think you're just being mean. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, can you give me an example? Like, I just want to know when I'm doing it. It's good that you pointed out. I just want to know when I'm doing it. She goes, I don't have an example, but I just feel like you're being mean to everybody, especially blah, blah, blah. So I went to blah, blah, blah. I was like, hey, am I being mean to you? And he goes, no, you're just your normal self. And I went to everybody in our social circle. I was like, have I been mean? Have I been off-putting? Have I been hurting your feelings? They were like, no, you're fine. And so I never changed, because only if one person out of like 10 is going to say that I'm mean, then it's that one person's fault. I'm not going to change. That was a very roundabout way of saying that. I have to give you the background.
I'd probably say people think I'm too friendly. Like, they're like, sometimes you can be a little like off-putting because I don't know how to handle you. And it's a really weird thing when people say that. Like, they're like, oh, like, you're like just like too nice and too like easy to talk to. And I was like, well, I'm just trying to make it easier for both parties, you and I, since we are a party together. I don't know. I think I don't necessarily agree with that, because I'm like, I just like meeting new people and I want to make sure that they're comfortable. And I don't know. I try to do the same things. Like, you know, you give and you take, right? You try to take as much as you give. So like when I talk to people, and sometimes like obviously for parties and we're talking about stupid stuff, I'll just be like, yeah, you know, like this happened in my life and this sucks, like this and this happened, and then they tell me something like deep. I'm just like, oh wow, like that's so nice. Like it's not something that you're gonna constantly have with people, but I don't know. I think it's a cool way to get to know someone,
Yeah.
as odd as it sounds.
I'm
I've also been
surprised.
told I'm unfriendly.
Even my friends say that you guys are very friendly too. Like they're like, yeah, your friends are really chill. Like they talk to us and everything. And I was like, okay, like that's great. I think it
I
just
like it when
depends
they
on how they approach you. Like the mentality. They're like, oh, like she looks hella mean, but it's like, okay, but that's your judgment of how you perceive me just then.
Yeah.
So you don't know me. I
Yeah.
can be bitchy if I want to.
Me and my RBF, I guess.
So next time you walk in a room, let's just be like, I know. Then they're gonna be like, that girl's too much.
okay, but does
Can't
being
win,
that
can't win.
perky, does that like drain you?
Yes, like smiling on
don't
this
do it.
podcast drains me.
You drain me.
All the smiling that I do because I don't want to look like this.
Ain't nobody judging you, okay?
Let's just try it. Go on the rest of the night.
No, I can't.
How have your weaknesses affected your life, your decisions, your relationships, or anything else?
I think that snapping one is probably my biggest one that has affected my personal relationships. And I guess my life, because I could be a better person, I could react better, I can control my emotions a little better, and I shouldn't really take it to the extreme. Like it's normally not a big deal. Like whatever I snap at is 10 times out of 10 not even a big deal. Like, but in that moment, like I'm either like doing something hella extra, like cleaning or something, and you're not helping, so like I'm gonna be annoyed kind of situation. And so I snap. So again, like not a big deal, right? But there I go.
I think my trusting one made me become friends with people way too fast, which I don't think is weird, but like some people say is weird. And then later on, I'm like, ooh, I don't really know this person. And then like I lost a lot of friendships really quickly like that. And also like I tell people, if I just met you, I'll tell you anything you want to know about my life, like no matter how dark my secret is. And like I don't mind if you do that to me. So then sometimes I'm like, crap, those people I don't talk to anymore, like or only knew for a few months, they know all my secrets, and it's kind of like, ooh, now I gotta trust you with everything I just told you. So like the too much trust thing, I guess like it just hurts, but then I get over it.
I'm the same with Alyssa. The snapping is something that's affected my relationship and my work space. And I guess with people too, because when I'm just tired or just fed up and just like I'm just angry about something, and I'm sorry that I snap at whoever's the closest, and it's usually Michael, unfortunately. But it's like, I mean, I'm trying to be better. I just like if I'm mad or if I'm angry, sometimes I don't want to talk about it either, and just let me be alone in my dark little hole, or let me just clean my heart out until like I'm ready to talk to you, because cleaning makes me feel better and it
Me
helps
too.
with my environment.
You guys
So
are
it's a win-win,
literally the
right?
same.
Yeah, we're the same in this aspect, Tiffany. 1000%.
You guys are welcome at my house anytime you're mad.
Just
Oh
come
girl,
clean her
I
place
will
and
go
leave.
personally to your room.
I appreciate that.
They've done it before. My weakness is how they've affected my life. I would say it made me slow down more. I think at the beginning of quarantine, I was like still very hard on myself, but like as we've gone through, I've been more mellow. And I don't think I could really realize how mellow I am if I didn't see how frantic I was about trying to be better before. Anyway, I think I'm mellow, but if I'm not, don't tell me. With my decisions, yeah, I think I just don't jump to extreme conclusions anymore. And in relationships, I think I've learned to build better boundaries. And it's still like a work in process, but when somebody will say something to me and try to correct me, I'll have the boundary within my own self and be like, This is how far I'm going to take it, though. I'm not going to go all the way over here, but I'm just going to keep it at this level.
All my like self-doubting affected a bunch of my decisions in my life because I'm always like either too scared to try something because I'm like, if I fail, like we used to get in trouble in this household as kids, so it's like I don't want to try something that I'm not sure of the outcome, or like I'll make something now and I still need to ask my brother all the time, like, is this good enough to put out there or like invest money in? Like I just don't trust myself to make big decisions.
I think for me, being like too perfect has affected some decisions. Like I always just felt like I wasn't good enough, like to apply. I wasn't good enough for the position, the promotion, or just whatever. Like, and I think that has held me back. And at one point while I was applying to a position, I literally had to ask somebody in my life at the time who was very toxic, like, do you think I'm good enough for this? And like looking back, I'm like, why did I even do that? Because I'm way better than that, but that's like how much it affects me personally.
I think for caring too much, I think it's affected my decisions, like that I've kind of overstepped my boundaries in helping these people. And I think going forward, I'm only going to really invest myself in people who want to see a better outlook in their life and they don't want to stay hidden in the shadows and kind of just want to improve. And I think I just have to realize if these people are actually being serious about what they want and if I should really even be spending my time to help them. I would say that would probably be like one of the biggest things for decision wise, because I think I invest too much time into some people who don't necessarily want it, or I don't know, don't really want to listen.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought about, okay, I was watching Teen Mom. One of the moms owns a clothing company, and they did all this like Instagram post about this new line of collection of shirts that they made. And then they didn't realize, because they didn't show it to anybody, they spelled Los Angeles wrong. So if you show your design to like one other person, be like, is this just spelled right? I think that's fine.
Yeah, but I'm not doing it for that. I'm literally looking for validation because I'm just like, if it doesn't sell, it's my fault because I suck. But I'm just like learning. Maybe people don't have the same sense of humor, or like, because I know some things don't sell because people don't find it funny. Some people have messaged me, can I get this without the text? And I'm just like, no, it's already done. But like, that's totally fine. You know?
It's already printed. Please just put a piece of paper on top of it if you
No.
don't like it.
It's just like, buy something else. It's okay. But then, like, I'll think in my head, like, literally, when this person asked that about a card, I went to my brother and I was like, damn it, I should have not printed that card with words on it. Like, in the beginning, I wasn't sure if I should put these words because it's kind of too sarcastic. And he was like, dude, it's for a different group of people. Like, relax. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I can't. Like, my head is just like, yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You're not for everyone. I'm not for everyone. And that's okay.
Yep.
Accepting that is a little harder for us,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
You know, something I just learned from y'all just now is that you have to know who your audience is and who you like really care about to really cater to. Like if somebody else is outside of your realm, like something you don't really care about, like forget it. I'm not gonna change for you.
Preach, sister, preach. Well, now that we laid out all our weaknesses on the table, we hope that you have learned something like Krista did from us, because she's awesome for telling us that. Validation. I love validation. And it's honestly whatever you feel is better, right? Being too nice is not always a bad thing. Who cares? Suck it.
Yeah, suck it. Screw you. I'm just kidding.
Sorry, can
And
I end
next
it? Yeah.
week is in person.
Holla. Stay tuned. Keep liking and subscribing. We appreciate y'all. Vajayjays out.
Stay bitchin'.